The downtown district of Ironwood City was a maze of shadowed alleys and indifferent storefronts, the kind of place where forgotten stories lingered in the grime. The air hung thick with the metallic tang of exhaust and the faint, persistent smell of stale beer from the bars that never truly closed. In the glow of a flickering neon sign that read, Griffin's Diner, Jensen, a local police officer infamous for his heavy-handed tactics, stood leaning against his patrol car. He was a man who reveled in the small, unchecked power of his badge. Tonight, his bold red complexion was almost a perfect match for the crimson glow of his cruiser's brake lights, creating an aura of simmering menace. His uniform, though a standard dark blue, seemed to fit him like a second, more aggressive skin. He scanned the street, not for crime, but for vulnerability. Across the street, walking with measured, almost military cadence, was Kaia. She was a decorated veteran, a former special operations pilot, though you wouldn't know it from her unassuming appearance. She wore a modest white denim jacket over a simple deep navy t-shirt, her hands tucked into the pockets of her dark jeans. In her hand, she clutched a yellow leather notebook, her personal journal, filled with sketches and observations, a quiet outlet for a mind that once navigated war zones. Kaia was quiet, moving with a deliberate calm that Jensen, from his vantage point, misinterpreted as weakness. She was simply trying to get home after a late-night shift at the local veterans clinic where she volunteered. Jensen's eyes narrowed on Kaia. Her quiet demeanor, her purposeful stride, ignited something predatory in him. He saw a target, someone who wouldn't make a fuss, someone whose night he could disrupt just because he could. He pushed off his cruiser and sauntered across the street, his heavy boots echoing on the pavement, a sound that seemed disproportionately loud in the quiet night. "Evening, ma'am," Jensen drawled, stepping directly into Kaia's path. He didn't offer a polite greeting. His tone was thick with an assumed authority. "Got a minute? You fit the description of a suspect we're looking for." Kaia stopped, her gaze steady. "What suspect?" she asked, her voice calm but firm, a low, deep navy tone. "And what description?" Jensen smirked, a cruel twist of his lips. He didn't produce a warrant or description. Instead, he took another aggressive step forward, physically invading Kaia's personal space. He leaned in, his bulk intentionally intimidating, forcing Kaia to instinctively take a step back. His hand shot out, not to search, but to deliberately brush her shoulder, a blatant act of physical intimidation. "Just a routine stop, sweetie. You got something to hide in that little yellow book?" The justice debt began to accumulate rapidly. Kaia's eyes, which had been calm, hardened. She knew this game. "Officer, I haven't committed crime, and you have no right to touch me." Jensen laughed, a harsh, grating sound that bounced off the brick walls. "No right? I got a badge right here. Sweetheart, that gives me all the rights I need." He saw the yellow leather notebook in her hand. Without warning, he snatched it, yanking from her grip with a sharp, aggressive motion. The force was enough to make her fingers ache. "Let's see what kind of deep thoughts you're scribbling in here." The witnesses in the scene had begun to emerge from the shadows. A small crowd of late-night pedestrians, exiting the diner or walking home, had stopped. They formed a silent, unwilling audience, their faces a blur of white, yellow, and muted gray in the dim light. A young woman in a white hooded sweatshirt pulled out her phone, her thumb hovering over the record button, her eyes wide with apprehension. A homeless man in a tattered yellow blanket huddled deeper into a doorway, watching with a familiar sense of dread. "Give me my property back," Kaia commanded, her voice now a steel-edged whisper, the deep navy tone infused with dangerous authority. She took a step toward him. Jensen, emboldened by the silent crowd and his own arrogance, didn't just refuse. He physically shoved Kaia backward with both hands, pushing her hard against the brick wall of the diner. The impact was solid, dull, and undeniably aggressive. Her head snapped back slightly, but she quickly regained her footing, her eyes never leaving his. "Or what, little girl?" Jensen sneered, holding her yellow notebook just out of her reach. "You gonna cry to your mommy?" He didn't know that thousands of miles away, a secure facility was registering a flag. For 30 minutes, Jensen had kept Kaia detained against the brick wall, mocking her quiet demeanor while he flipped through her yellow leather notebook. He was so engrossed in his own power trip that he didn't notice the black SUVs quietly sealing off both ends of the street. He didn't notice the red laser dots dancing across his own bold red neck. Suddenly, the overhead streetlights hummed and turned a brilliant, blinding royal blue. Jensen squinted, shielding his eyes. What the hell is wrong with the grid? He barked into his shoulder radio, but all he got was static. The grid is fine, Officer Jensen, Kaia said, her voice now a terrifyingly calm deep navy. But your authorization has been revoked. A high-ranking official in a white tactical shirt stepped out of the lead SUV, flanked by 4 soldiers in deep navy digital camouflage. He held a tablet that was live-streaming Jensen's body cam footage, except the feed was being routed through a Pentagon server. Officer Jensen, the official announced, you're currently in violation of the Enhanced Veteran Protection Act. You didn't just harass a civilian. You physically assaulted Colonel Kaia Vaughn, the director of orbital surveillance. Every word you said, every time you shoved her, and the exact moment you stole her classified journal, was tracked by a satellite currently positioned directly above your head. Jensen's face went from bold red to a sickly, pale white. He looked up at the sky, then at the soldiers. I didn't know. She didn't have ID. I was just doing my job. Your job doesn't include battery, Kaia said, stepping forward. She reached out and snatched her yellow notebook back from his trembling hands, mirroring the force he had used on her. And it certainly doesn't include assaulting a superior officer. The witnesses in the scene had grown in number. The woman in the white hoodie was still filming, but now she was cheering. The man in the yellow blanket stood up, a look of vindication on his face as he watched the untouchable Jensen crumble. Colonel, the official asked, how do you want to proceed? Strip him, Kaia commanded, in front of the entire neighborhood. The soldiers stepped forward. They didn't just arrest him. They began the process of administrative erasure. They physically ripped the silver badge from Jensen's uniform, the fabric tearing loudly in the quiet night. They unbuckled his duty belt and tossed it into the gutter, right next to the puddle where he had threatened to throw Kaia's book. Jensen fell to his knees, his hands shaking as he looked at the crowd. He reached out to grab the hem of Kaia's white jacket, a pathetic, desperate gesture of begging. Please, Colonel, I have a family. Don't take the pension. I'll apologize. I'll do anything. Kaia looked down at him with total indifference. You didn't care about my family when you slammed me against that wall. You didn't care about the law when you stole my property. You aren't a cop, Jensen. You're a bully in a costume. And the costume is officially retired. As Jensen was hauled into the back of a windowless federal van, not a police cruiser, the neighborhood erupted in a roar of approval. The woman in the white hoodie caught the final shot of Jensen's face, tear-streaked and broken, before the door slammed shut. Kaia turned to witnesses. She walked over to the man in the yellow blanket and handed him a $100 bill. Thank you for staying, she said softly. The street is safe now. She climbed into the back of the lead SUV, her deep navy shirt disappearing into the shadows of the vehicle. The lights shifted back from royal blue to the normal amber of the city. But the corner of Ironwood City felt different. The predator was gone, and the quiet Colonel had ensured he would never see the light of a badge again.